what has been your initial reaction to the budget and what's most stood out to you?
Yeah, so I think it's been some good news and not and some not so good news, and clearly it depends on the individual and your personal situation as to how good or not so good it's likely to be. I mean, I think that some of the things that people probably will like to see is the increase in minimum wage. So for adults, it's going up by 6.7% to £12.21 an hour, and they've given a 16% increase to the younger age group. So that's going up to £10 an hour. I think a lot of people will also be happy with fuel duty being frozen. And I think there'll be a lot of people also happy that the inheritance tax thresholds are not going to move until 2030. Although there is a bit of a sting in the tail in that because they will start including any pension monies as part of your estate from April 2027. So I think those are probably some of the good things. Maybe some of the things that people will be more concerned about is capital gains tax going up. So for basic rate taxpayers going from 10% to 18%, and for high rate taxpayers from 20% to 24%. Um, Also, there's going to be no change in personal tax threshold levels either. So this is this whole notion of fiscal drag. So until 2028, potentially as people get pay rises, they could be brought into a higher tax band.
And obviously, before we even had the budget, we knew that Labour was aiming to increase the UK's employment rate. Do you think that this is a budget that will do that?
Well, I think it's interesting really because on one hand you've got employers NI going up, so that's going up from 13.8% to 15%. So some will view that as effectively a tax on jobs because clearly organisations will need to find extra money to pay that NI. Um, but on the other hand, they are planning to invest a lot of money into infrastructure, so everything from hospitals and schools, railways. They spoke about. So that investment in itself will create jobs. So I guess there's a balance there. I guess there will be some winners and some losers.
I agree. And some people have suggested that parts of the budget could increase an insecure.
I mean, there is an issue that
Mm,
clearly if costs go up for employers, so NI goes up, but then of course there's a whole raft of new legislation which is coming in as well in terms of workers' rights. So potentially those things combined may mean that employers are less reluctant to take workers on because A, they may have less money to take those people on. When they take them on, clearly minimum wage is higher, so they will be paying them more. But actually, because the workers' rights are going to increase as well, it'd be much harder to get rid of those people. So it could be that if you like, though all those things combined means that employers go, do I really want to take that extra person on? I think from the individual perspective, though, in theory, if they secure the job, then of course it's a good thing because they're going to, the minimum wage is going up. They have more employment rights. So if they get that job, then I guess it's better for them. So the question probably is it just going to stop recruitment? Are employers going to say, well, actually, I'm not going to take that extra person on because it's more risk for the employer?
so if it does stop recruitment, what sort of effects could this have on employment rates? Could this actually be more damaging, or do you think overall?
Well, I think it's an interesting question because I think probably there's going to be a balance to it because on one hand you could put an argument together to say that in the private sector with costs going up, with costs of employing people going up, then that may mean that they recruit fewer people than they otherwise may have done. But on the other hand, you may argue that because the government are planning to invest billions of pounds in things like the hospitals, the schools, the railways, other infrastructure, new technology they've spoken about, then that will create more jobs. So whether that's a net gain or a net loss, I guess we'll have to wait and see.